We have some major breaking news. It has been announced that Chandler Smith will attempt to qualify for the 2025 Daytona 500 with NBM Motorsports in Garage 66. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel, and welcome back to our video. As I just said a second ago, we got some pretty massive and major breaking news, as it has been officially announced and confirmed that Chandler Smith will attempt to qualify for the 2025 Daytona 500 with NBM Motorsports in Garage 66. Here's the announcement from Garage 66. Chandler Smith has signed with Garage 66 to drive the number 66 Quick Type Ford for Speedways and Shoot to make his first Daytona 500 in 2025. Remember, it had been originally announced that it was going to be Mike Wallace who was going to be behind the wheel of the number 66 car for Garage 66 in this year's Daytona 500. Unfortunately, Mike Wallace had been disallowed and disqualified from running the 2025 Daytona 500 with NBM because of inactivity and not racing on an oval since 2015 in the Daytona 500. So NBM and Garage 66 were really trying to figure out who they were going to put behind the wheel of this seat for the Daytona 500. A couple days ago, I had heard this rumor circling around about Chandler Smith driving in the seat. Now, the Chandler Smith, in my opinion, is a pretty solid super speedway racer, but he's not someone that I would have picked probably for the super speedway side of things. Sheldon Creed, I think, would have been a decent option to get behind the wheel, but at the same token, same time, it does make a lot of sense. They're going to go with someone who, one, does have sponsorship funding, and QuickTie does sponsor Chandler Smith, and they're going to sponsor Chandler, from my understanding, for a lot of races with Former Motorsports in 2025, but also has a lot of talent. Chandler Smith did attempt to qualify for the 2023 Daytona 500 and with Colleague Racing in number 13 or the number 16 team, I'm pretty sure. Unfortunately, he did end up failing to qualify for the Daytona 500 a couple years ago, and he's going to have a decent chance and opportunity. However, the one thing that's going to put Chandler at a little bit of a disadvantage is not his talent, but the caliber of competition that he's going to be competing against compared to prior years. You've got Jimmy Johnson, who's going to be driving an 84 car for Legacy Motor Club. You've got Junior Motorsports with Justin Allgaier on the 40 team that Junior Motorsports have in their first Daytona 500. You've got Beer Motorsports, Anthony Fredo in the 62 team. That team's going to be a sleeper pick to make the Daytona 500 this year. You got Elio Castroneves, who's already guaranteed a spot in the Daytona 500 with Project 91 in the number 91 team. You've got other teams rumored, like Team Amerivet, who seems to be rumored and interested. RCR may be entering a car for Austin Hill in this year's Daytona 500. You've also got other big organizations and teams. Front Row could run a fourth car in this year's Daytona 500. Probably not, though, with Chandler Smith going to NBM Motorsports. There's other big name teams that are looking to make some moves. We got Mark Truex Jr., who's going to be attempting to qualify for this year's Daytona 500 with Tricon Garage, which they'll attempt to make their first Daytona 500 and their first NASCAR Cup Series start. And there's some other teams like NY Racing who are looking to make this year's Daytona 500. When you look at the open cars, the open field for this year's Daytona 500 is going to be absolutely stacked. Now, will this be the only time we see the 66 car show up with Chandler Smith this year? Honestly, I don't know. I could see Chandler Smith making a few cup starts with this organization because, one, he does have sponsorship and funding, and number two, the 66 car is going to show up at a lot more races throughout 2025. The main focus for Garage 56, 66, and NBM Motorsports is going to be the Cup Series. They're only running a few NASCAR Xfinity races in 2025, so they're going to be focusing more on the Cup side of things compared to the Xfinity Series side of things this year. But I think Chandler Smith is a very, very solid option and someone who I would consider, and I agree with, for the choice to be behind the wheel, though I think there are some other drivers who could have been really strong candidates to get behind the wheel of this car. I think Chandler does have a good chance and opportunity to make the Daytona 500 this year. I think the 66 team made a solid decision for who they're putting behind the wheel, and I think especially with the sponsorship he's bringing to the table, it made a lot of sense. I think his chances are going to be, it's going to be a little more difficult, I will say, because again, the competition that he's going to be going up against is going to be very, very difficult to beat. But it's good to see that NBM and Garage 66 were able to find a ride and someone to get behind the wheel of this car that wasn't Mike Wallace. The whole Mike Wallace fiasco was just kind of a crap show, unfortunately. And really, I feel bad for NBM because NBM really did nothing wrong in the situation. Mike Wallace, we all know, in my opinion, kind of jumped the gun on announcing it. He never really got full access to announce his ride. So they had to go and get somebody at the last minute. And luckily, they were able to find someone who brought sponsorship and funding to the table. And that's a good thing that they were able to do, because Chandler Smith goes from at one point not even having a ride at this point a few weeks ago to now having a ride for this year's Daytona 500, and I feel like it's a really good thing. We're very intrigued to see how he's going to do it front row, though, in the Craftsman Truck Series. That's one thing I'm excited about, because I think he will be a legit championship contender in the Truck Series in 2025. I think he's going to have a really good opportunity to win a bunch of races with front row. I think it's going to be a strong year for him. And now he's got a chance to make his first ever Daytona 500, which would be an incredible accomplishment. If he can get that MBM Garage 66 car in the Daytona 500, that is going to be absolutely huge. So, again, I'm excited for Chandler here. It's a fantastic opportunity. I look for this team to bring the pace and speed. I think they're going to have a car capable of getting it done. Again, the competition that they're going up against in the 500 is going to be super, super strong, but I think they have an outside chance and opportunity. I don't think they will make it from the qualifying side of things. I think the top two are probably going to be the Chevrolets of Helio Castroneves and Dale Jr., but I think a lot of people are hoping that Helio Castroneves doesn't qualify his way in this year's Daytona 500, not because they don't want Helio to make it in, but they wanted that extra car in, right? And that third open provisional clause, that's only basically out there for the Helio Castroneves 91 team, because world-class drivers are the only ones eligible to get it, but they also want to make it in on speed or make it in the duels. We could have 41 cars in this year's Daytona 500. You've got the largest field that is entering this year's Daytona 500 since 2015, I'm pretty sure, when 49 cars showed up. It's been dropping off since the charters, but I'm glad to see that more teams are showing up in the Daytona 500. And again, I do expect a lot more big names to be announced as we get closer. And again, there's still a few rides that need to be announced. We're still waiting on the announcement for the number 15 car for Rick Ware Racing. I'm hearing Corey LaJoie is the favorite for that seat. And then there's still a couple other teams that are up in the air. Like I already mentioned, RCR could still enter a car. Front Row can enter a fourth car for someone like Elaine Riggs. Who knows at this point? But again, it's really good to see nonetheless that we'll get to see Chandler Smith have the chance and opportunity to qualify for this year's Daytona 500. We'll see how he can do in the 2025 Daytona 500 if he can make it in. So, that is going to be our today's short NASCAR breaking news episode on Chandler Smith. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, notifications on, so if I win a video, it does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. Let's go below that and comment your thoughts below on today's episode. You think Chandler Smith will be able to get into Daytona 500 on Wednesday or not, or so you think he makes it in on Thursday in the duels? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If there's any other major news that does break throughout the day, we'll discuss here live on the channel. If not, the next time you're probably going to see me is when I do the news video. I might be doing multiple news videos on Friday. There's going to be a video on every major silly season move that happened in 2025 coming out tomorrow. And there's other big news coming. We're going to be doing a race review on the Rolex 24 on Sunday. We're going to have videos on people like Haley Deegan, Shane Van Gisbergen, Carl Edwards, Kurt Busch, Connor Zillage, Kyle Busch, Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott, Bubba Walls, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. potentially, Ross Chastain, Cletus McFarland, Matt DiBenedetto, other big names from Junior Motorsports, Chandler Smith again, Eric Almirola, all those big names, and we'll talk about here on the channel as we go close to the start of the year and the season. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode, and I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.